Get your hands off that desk, Gareth Holloway barks, loud enough for every teller to freeze. His coffee sloshes over the edge of the mug. The woman standing across from him doesn't flinch. Amara Ellis, perfect credit score, flawless file, $385,000 loan request. Gareth snatches the paperwork, ready to shred it in front of her until his eyes hit the name at the top. His grip trembles. Ellis. The color drains from his face. "No," he whispers, barely audible. "Not Ellis! Not again!" The papers explode across the marble floor as he hurls the file at her. Coffee follows, splattering brown arcs against her beige blazer. Amara doesn't even blink. Her posture doesn't change. "Security!" he shouts, fumbling for his phone. "Get me the FBI, right now!" "She's one of them." Gasps ripple through the bank. Phones lift to record. Amara glances at her watch. 2:53 p.m. 10 years of waiting ends today. 15 minutes later, agents flood the branch. The same manager who screamed for her arrest stumbles back as she opens her briefcase, revealing a badge. Every agent straightens. One salutes. And for the first time all day, Gareth Holloway can't find a single word to say. The lobby stays silent after that salute. Fluorescent lights hum. Someone's phone alarm chirps and dies away. A teller wipes a trembling hand across the counter, smearing a trail of spilled coffee. Amara lowers her arm slowly, badge gleaming under the ceiling lights. Calm, steady breathing, her eyes move from one shocked face to another, then rest on Gareth. He looks smaller now, collar damp with sweat, jaw twitching, words stuck behind his teeth. Moments earlier, the same man had boomed across the branch like he owned the air. Now he can't even meet her gaze. Two agents step forward. "Ma'am, are you all right?" One asks. She nods once. "Secure the floor." The order lands sharp. Within seconds, customers are guided toward the doors. The watchers with phones are asked to leave. Even the hum of conversation dissolves into tense, respectful quiet. Gareth finally stammers, I didn't know who you were." Amara's reply is soft. "You didn't need to." Her tone isn't vengeful, just factual, heavy with the weight of someone who's been here before. She kneels to collect the scattered papers. Each page is soaked, wrinkled, the ink bleeding like a wound. She folds them neatly, slides them into her briefcase, and locks the clasp. Through the glass partitions, the city glows in late afternoon light. For the first time, a reflection shows both of them, the man who abused his power and the woman who never needed permission to stand her ground. Somewhere deep in the building, a printer whirs, routine continuing, as if nothing extraordinary just happened. Amara turns toward the exit, heels clicking against marble. At the door, she pauses, glances once at her watch, and murmurs to herself, "Right on time." If you're still watching, tell me in the comments, which country are you tuning in from, and what time is it there right now? And if you enjoy stories where justice hits when no one expects it, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. The echo of Amara's heels fades down the hallway, but the tension she leaves behind clings to the air like static. Outside, blue lights flash against the glass. The FBI response team moves with precision. Two black SUVs sliding to the curb, doors opening in perfect unison. Agents pour out, their vests crisp, weapons holstered but ready. Inside, Gareth Holloway paces behind his desk. His once polished composure has cracked wide open. He dabs at the coffee stain spreading across his sleeve, muttering, "She can't be one of them. She can't." A young teller edges closer. "Sir, maybe it's a misunderstanding." "Quiet!" he snaps, the word too loud, too brittle. "You don't understand who that woman is." The glass doors sweep open. The sound of boots on tiles slices through the silence. A lead agent, tall, composed, scans the room. His badge catches the light. Agent Elias Carter. "Where is she?" he asks. Gareth points toward the back offices, his voice shaky. "In there. I want her detained immediately." Carter doesn't move. "Detained?" "Miss Ellis requested this meeting. She's been coordinating with our division for weeks." The words hit like a gunshot. Every head turns. Gareth blinks. "Requested? With you?" The agent nods once, expression unreadable. "We've been investigating internal fraud linked to this branch. She's here as part of that operation." Color drains again from Gareth's face. His mouth opens, closes. That's impossible. She applied for a loan. Undercover, Carter says simply, to see how you'd treat her. Gasps flutter around the room. The tellers freeze. One nearly drops her pen. A customer whispers, "She's FBI?" Carter's gaze hardens. "Assistant Director Ellis," he corrects. The title lands heavy. Gareth sways, catching the edge of his desk for balance. The coffee cup still lies shattered on the floor, the stain widening like guilt. From the back corridor, Amara reappears, badge visible now, expression calm, precise. She steps into the lobby, her voice level. "Agent Carter, secure the vault and transaction records. Start with the personal accounts under Holloway's authorization." Carter signals two agents who move instantly. Paperwork rustles, computers flicker alive. Gareth takes a half step forward, desperate. "You can't just—" Amara cuts him off with a look cold enough to stop him mid-word. "I warned your branch a decade ago what corruption costs," she says quietly. "You never listened," the agents fan out. The clock on the wall ticks to 3:08 p.m., 15 minutes exactly. The moment hangs heavy, like the entire branch is holding its breath. Gareth's mouth opens, but no sound comes. His hands tremble, fingers twitching as if he might still grab his phone, still try to call someone who could undo this. But there's no one left to call. Amara steps closer, her heels deliberate, echoing across the marble. Every click lands like a verdict. "You still remember me, don't you?" she asks softly. He swallows hard. You're not her." A faint smile crosses her lips. Not cruel, just tired. "I was a trainee when you shut my mother's account down. Said her paperwork was fraudulent. Do you remember what happened after that?" Gareth's face tightens. The memory he's spent years burying drags itself back into the light. An image of a woman in tears, clutching her purse, humiliated as security escorted her out while customers watched. The name flashes in his mind. Amara Ellis. Amara watches realization dawn across his face. "You made sure she never recovered. You called her a liar, a thief." Her voice doesn't rise. It doesn't need to. "She died trying to clear her name." Gareth staggers back a step. I was following procedure. There were red flags." Amara's eyes sharpen. "You forged those red flags." Agent Carter steps closer, his voice calm but razor-edged. "We traced multiple accounts under false reports. Internal manipulation of loan data. Holloway, your name's on every authorization." Gareth's skin goes pale. "That's not possible. It's already logged," Carter says. "You'll have your chance to explain it to the Bureau." The lobby is silent, except for the soft hum of printers spitting out frozen account statements. The agents work efficiently, pulling drives, sealing evidence bags. The tellers glance between Amara and Gareth like they're watching two different worlds collide. Gareth's shoulders sag. "You came back for revenge." Amara shakes her head. "No, for justice." She reaches into her blazer, producing her badge fully now. The gold emblem glints under the fluorescent light. FBI, Assistant Director Amara Ellis. Her gaze meets his. "You taught me what power looks like when it's abused. I made sure I'd be strong enough to take it back." A hush spreads through the room. Then Agent Carter gives a subtle nod. "Take him in." Two agents move in sync, snapping cuffs around Gareth's wrists. The clink of metal echoes like a closing chapter. As they escort him toward the door, Amara turns to the stunned employees. "The Bureau will handle this branch. You'll all be questioned. Cooperate, and you'll be fine." Her tone is steady, commanding. But as the doors close behind Gareth Holloway, there's a flicker of something in her eyes. Not satisfaction, not triumph, just closure. Inside the interrogation room, the walls feel too close. The hum of the overhead light mixes with Gareth Holloway's ragged breathing. His tie lies crumpled on the table, his hands cuffed and trembling. Across from him, Amara sits still, a quiet storm in a beige blazer. Agent Carter switches on the recorder. "State your name for the record." "Gareth Holloway," he mutters, voice hollow. Amara leans forward, eyes locked on his. "Tell them what happened 10 years ago." He hesitates, jaw clenched. "You wouldn't understand." "Try me," she says. He exhales shakily. It wasn't supposed to go that far. The Ellis file, your mother's. It was clean. But the regional director wanted numbers. More risk flags meant bonuses, promotions. He told me to reject the loan, make it look fraudulent. Said it was just paperwork. Nothing personal. Amara's expression doesn't change, but her knuckles tighten slightly. And when she protested? Gareth stares at the table. They sent security. I told them she was becoming aggressive, that she might be dangerous. He swallows hard. She lost everything because of that report. And when the audit came, they made me shred the evidence. Carter's pen stops moving. The air grows thick with disgust. So you framed her, Amara says quietly. I did what I was told. Gareth whispers, voice breaking. If I hadn't, I'd have lost my career. Amara leans back, eyes cold. You destroyed a life to save a paycheck. He looks up, tears welling. I didn't know she had a daughter in training. I didn't know you'd become this. She stands slowly, gathering the files. No, Gareth. You didn't think I'd survive it. The room falls silent except for the steady whir of the camera, recording every second of his downfall. Rain streaked across the glass walls of the FBI field office as Amara stood looking out at the city. The night skyline shimmered in the distance, a blur of red and blue reflections against the window pane. Behind her, the door clicked open softly. Agent Carter stepped in, a thick folder tucked under his arm. It's done, he said. Holloway's confession lines up with the archived reports. We've confirmed at least 4 other names. All of them were victims of the same manipulation. Amara didn't turn. And the director? Resigned an hour ago. Justice Department's involved now. Carter paused. You did it. She nodded faintly, but her eyes didn't leave the window. The glow of the city seemed distant, almost unreal. It wasn't about doing it, she murmured. It was about finishing what she couldn't. Carter hesitated. Your mother would have been proud. That made her finally turn. Her expression softened, a brief flicker of vulnerability breaking through the steel. She taught me that truth doesn't need to shout to be heard. You just have to stand long enough for the noise to die down. He nodded, silent respect in his eyes, and left her alone in the office. Amara reached into her pocket and pulled out an old photograph. Her mother, smiling in front of a small community bank, holding a folder labeled Ellis Loan Proposal. The edges were faded, corners bent, but the determination in that smile was timeless. Rest now, Mom, she whispered. They finally heard you. Outside, the city pulsed with life. People walking under umbrellas, cars cutting through puddles, lights flickering in 1,000 stories yet to be told. But for the first time in years, Amara felt the weight lift. Justice had a face again. Later that night, she placed the case files on her desk, stamped with the Bureau's seal. Operation Mercury. Closed. She exhaled deeply, eyes closing for a moment of peace. The kind she hadn't allowed herself since the day her mother's name was dragged through the mud. The room was quiet, except for the rhythmic patter of rain. Then her phone buzzed. A message flashed from an unknown number. Not everyone wanted this case opened again. Be careful, Agent Ellis. Her eyes narrowed. The peace she'd earned suddenly felt fragile. She slipped the phone into her pocket and looked once more at her mother's picture. Let them come, she whispered. I'm not done yet. The camera would linger here, the quiet hum of the city, the flicker of light on the badge, her reflection in the window. A woman forged by loss, standing taller than the system that once tried to break her, because justice isn't a moment. It's a fight you carry until the end. If this story moved you, if you believe truth should always outlast power, hit subscribe. Drop AIA in the comments and tell us which country you're watching from and what time it is right now. Every view, every share keeps stories like Amara Ellis's alive. Stories of strength, justice, and the courage to rise when the world says stay down.